Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Non Classic. This episode 2376 and Doubleshot number 20 through 2270. Actually, it's 2277. Yeah, 2277, Doubleshot 2371. You probably first ask, Nick, where is your Jujutsu Kaisen review I'm going to do? Well, I've decided I'm going to save it for Saturday. It's like 5 episodes, so it shouldn't take me too long to get through this, so that's the reason why. So I figured, though, I spent saying tomorrow work on comic corners. As of right now, I have 4 to go, but I'm only going to probably get done 2 at the least. And I might be able to do more later. If not, I'll probably do more tomorrow. Yep. Alright, first we have is a book I really want to discuss first because, well, there's a few issues in this trade that, oh boy, some of you basically probably have heard about this particular storyline. It's a storyline, in my opinion, is one of the worst story arcs of Spider-Man in years. Well, let's talk about it. Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, Volume 4, Volume 5 actually, Dead Language Part 1. This collects Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 6, Issues 1923. I should point out that the first 2 issues are actually really good. Joe Casey does them, which is quite nice. That's Joe Kelly. And Terry Dotson does the artwork. Like, what? He does the artwork? Oh yeah, he does. But then comes 2123, we have Zeb Wells. I have nothing against the guy. It just says some of the stuff may not be up to standard, but you have John Romita Jr. in the artwork, which of course. The first 2 issues in here, by the way, John Romita Jr. does the cover artwork for all the issues in this book. Most of the first 2 issues is mostly put Spider-Man Black Cat on a date for a quick 2-parter. It's an absolutely fun 2-parter. There's nothing much to do with Dark Web in here. This is basically the very next thing that happens for this book at Dark Web. And it's an excellent story arc, and I love it. Then comes the Dead Language story arc, which takes up issues 21 to 30. This is the first half of the story arc. So, we finally get an explanation a year after this happened. Those of you who remember the end of the previous 5 Missing Experiment, you have Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and Peter Parker's apartment look like about to continue a relationship, and then this weird blinding figure. I asked Zeb Wells about this at Comic-Con last year if he was going to do anything fun with it. Oh yeah, he will. Don't worry. 1 year later, I had this list. Yeah, we're going to follow with this. And, oh my gosh, who the heck, okay, you probably asking, Nick, who the heck was that guy in the window? Oh boy. Yeah, we get a flashback to this 1 year earlier. So, it's, his name is Benjamin, what is his name here? Benjamin Rabin. Otherwise known as the Emissary. Also known as MJ Stalker from the very first set of issues, A Brand New Day, released back in 2007. Yes, Zeb Wells brings back a character who has not been seen in Amazing Spider-Man comics at this point in time. Like, real who this is. 16 years later. Yes, this guy stalked Mary Jane Watson. And then of course, he revealed to be like apparently a map edition from Ultimate Universe. Like, what the heck? Okay, here's what happened. So he broke up Rikers and then showed up at Peter's apartment. Of course, he gets blasted. And of course, he's spitting nonsense. He basically fires a freaking blazer out of his mouth. Like, what the heck is he? A pacifista? Shuts him out of the apartment, tells him to go off Mary Jane. He puts on his costume, fights him. And of course, then he sort of reminisces about other times. And remembers about the issues 555. And we have, oh, do you remember 555, 57? Oh yeah, it was the Brand New Day issues. The issues that were not well received when they came out. There's some good stuff in there, but so yeah. Then of course MJ gets marked, and then they get sent to another universe. Yep. Where yeah, Peter's in the universe. Osborn is being. Oh, this is basically good Osborn. So we see this guy who basically MJ runs into. Who is it? It's Paul. Yes, it's his first time. How's how they met Paul, the emissary. So, yeah, and what about a totem guy? And of course, they do bring up in here the web of life and death that was first brought up in Spider-Verse. So, thank you, Zeb Wells, bringing something Dan Slott created. Something that's a cool concept. There's weird symbol stuff here. Looking at the multiverse with Spider-Man knows all about that thanks to Spider-Verse. In fact, this weird god creature. And then the god creature on Spider-Man, of course, Peter's have scratches on it. Apparently it's really he got a scratch on his body. Like, what the heck? And then he gets sent back to... And this is basically what we saw at the opening issue for issue 1 of this very event. Peter opens a portal, creates a freaking crater in Pennsylvania. So, yeah. So we get an explanation of how the heck that happened. And then Peter, with these marks on his belly, don't know how they got there. Of course, he runs away. Yeah. And then, of course, he sneaks back to New York. And, of course, basically gets to argue. He hurts Norman Osborn because he thinks Norman is evil, but not really. And, of course, he calms down. Then, of course, we get the whole thing that I was really ticked off of the storyline. Yes. So, the reason why that the Fantastic Four hated Spider-Man at the start of this run, he stole something from them. So, what did he steal? Well, I don't know. Then he runs into Captain America. Now, I gotta admit, John Romita Jr. does a good job drawing Captain America here. Because, well, he has drawn him before, thanks to drawing him in the Captain America run by Rebecca Mender. Like, I think he was the artist for almost the entire run. Yes, except for, like, I think up until about issue 15 he was the artist. And then later on they switched to the artist. And ends up fighting him. So, yeah. So he has this... So, then he has Norman to help him. Yes. Goes to Norman Osborn able to help. Of course, he also breaks the window too. And that's how the story ends. Yeah. Well, we're getting an explanation of what happened between the volumes. Yes, a very... Now, when Ryan North did this for his story arc, he at least didn't wait a freaking year to do this. We did it by issue 4. We gave an explanation of what the heck happened, what caused the stuff we saw in issue 1. This took a freaking year to come out. Like, I don't know why the heck Zeb Wells took so freaking long with this. Oh, by the way, I give this book a... Okay, so I give the Dead Language issues, the story, a 4. The artwork is okay. I have no issue with John Romita Jr.'s artwork. Like, did he come back for the story arc? No. He really did not. And as a matter of fact, he's not leaving. But we're not to the issue that I am surprised I did not hear anything about Zeb Wells receiving death threats for. Issue 26. The issue where they killed off Kamala Khan for no reason. Yeah, this trade does not collect that at all. Nope, because we're not there yet. The most recent issue that came out for this run was issue 31. An issue that was $10 for an issue that was way too long. An issue that built up something that Nick Spencer set up. So, I don't blame Zeb Wells for continuing something that Nick Spencer. That's fine. I have no issue with that. So yeah, aside from the mention of the multiverse, it's that this story is not a good start to it. Like, what the heck did he steal Fantastic Four? And Why in the world did Captain America run into? I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, the only person who looked really good on that artwork was John Romita Jr. I thought, not Jimmy Jr., he's the artist. Captain America looked really good. I enjoyed that. I think he was the best looking character. One thing I at least appreciate about this artwork, my guess is John Romita Jr. must have been receiving complaints about when he started this run, where he has this, the biggest problem I have with his artwork is he has the tendency to have unnecessary shading on characters' faces for no reason. That's one of the things I just didn't like about his artwork. But this artwork was a lot better than the usual, so I'm gonna give the artwork a praise here. Yes, I'm praising John Romita Jr.'s artwork. I'm giving his artwork a 7.5. At least it's better than the story itself. Alright, next up we have a much better story arc here. We have Wolverine Not Dead Yet. Yeah, this is a story from the late, I think 2000, I think it was. It was printed in 2013. Let me take and see when this was published. Let's see here. This was published back in 1997. Yes. This is the Not Dead story arc. Yeah, it is roughly 4 issues this story arc. And this might surprise you who does the writing for this. This is written by Warren Ellis. You're thinking, really? Warren Ellis wrote Wolverine? Yeah, just as bizarre as when he wrote Doctor Strange. Yeah, and here's the stupid thing about this story I do not like. The cover is a lie. Because as shown on the cover, Wolverine's in his costume. You read the issues. Like, here's something for you. Okay. Here's the cover first issue. You have Wolverine in his really good costume with the bones. And then in the book itself, he never puts it on. In the entirety of this 4-issue book, no costume. For no reason. Mostly put, it's a very brief story arc. Oh, by the way, the artwork is by Leno Yu, who I really enjoy this guy's artwork. This artwork is definitely standard. This is probably his early artwork. Not what I'm used to. It comes to usually a little more darker, but this is much more lighter. But I do appreciate it. I do love this guy's artwork, and I'm glad the fact he still gets work at Marvel. Yep. Oh, and in case you're curious, though, my favorite cover run he did is when he did the run for John Takeman's X-Men run. I really love the book. Mostly put basically, it's like a standard Wolverine story of him not in costume. And aside from Wolverine, is there anybody in the book who is a familiar character? Well, not until toward the very end of the book. Yeah. So you have Wolverine doing Wolverine things like fighting gangsters, basically dealing with various threats here. Him riding a motorcycle. This feels like a standard Wolverine story, which is fine. I have no problem with that at all. It may not be up to par with Larry Hama was doing prior to this. As a matter of fact, this is just after Larry Hama had stopped writing Wolverine. Yeah, his last issue was 118. This is the very next thing that Wolverine happened, which is a 4-part story, which is fine. Like Wolverine in the Woods. At least remember he still got his bone claw. I'm sure Warren Ellis, if he had his way, he'd probably say, hey, can I use the enemy? Like, no, you can't use it. You cannot have Wolverine shoot him out of his hands. Because this is the period of time where he still has the bone claws. This will last for another couple years. And then by around 2000, he gets his anime back. Yep. Now you probably think, okay, now by the way, we're at the part 4, the conclusion of this. Like, aside from Wolverine, we're not seeing familiar characters here. It's not terrible. I thought the story was a lot of fun. Yes, it is. Yeah, that's the only problem with this story. There's no familiar characters. It feels as though basically this is just a story. You can call simply Logan because he's not Wolverine. He's technically Wolverine. He does Wolverine things in here. The one thing he does not do is have sex with a woman. Nope, he does not do that. Don't know why. It's like there's hardly any women in this story arc, which is kind of surprising. Wolverine, he's still a badass. Yeah, it's just a badass Wolverine. Like the whole thing of not dead yet. Yeah, because he keeps coming back and beats up like Chinese gangsters. I find the story kind of fun. Yep. I mean, not like I said, it's not like Larry Hama, but it's still a good story arc. It feels like a similar style we had when the book first started. Very similar, but not exact per se. Um, one that the only like I said, one more the only criticism I have for this book is the covers being a lie. With Wolverine, you can see, oh, Wolverine's wears his costume in the store. Nope, he does not wear it. He just wears street clothes the whole time in all 4 issues. I'm gonna give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Yep. If anybody has read this story arc, I would love to find out people's opinions about this story arc. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular view. I'm gonna do one more comment corner, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my. I have to do my stream. Okay. Next view. Bye.